I think 20% of America's on psych medication, and they're impossible to get off of unless you know how to taper them, and no one knows how to taper them. It's just like, and then there's this diet that everyone thinks is a fad diet that works, and it's just like, whew.
Yeah, I see on the internet, they like, don't eat meat if you want to avoid diabetes. And I'm like, how is that even like physically possible? There's no carbs. Diabetes needs carbs. So, but that's what they put out there. And it's mind boggling to me. You go on the American Diabetes Association website and the recipes are like, 25% sugar and 30% carbs and 40% protein. And you're like, your diabetes association is to make sure people continue having diabetes? Is that the idea here?
I know. It's hard not to think that it's set up from the top or something. But then you talk to doctors and it's like, well, I do think the food pyramid screwed everybody over.
I think it's
and that was run by corporations, and we know that. Yeah. So that's not even a conspiracy. That's actually what happened. And then they trained all the doctors, and now we are where we are.
There's a lot of that. I mean, the whole cholesterol thing, there's documented proof that I think the sugar industry paid some Harvard doctors to say it's cholesterol, not sugar.
Yeah.
For heart disease. And I just like, what happened to that first do no harm thing in medical school?
I don't know what these people were thinking. They were probably, they didn't have a view of what the future would look like. The person who was like, yeah, we'll blame fat. And it was like, you know how many people that killed?
Yes. Oh, it's insane. And they've known about ketogenic diets since like the 1920s. Like they actually used it for therapy for things like epilepsy. So it's not like this is a brand new fad thing. They found stuff that worked because the medications weren't like crazy. They didn't have a ton of them back then. So they had to find stuff that actually worked.
Mm-hmm. And then the medications came in and took over, and it was easier to take a pill. Although they don't work that well. And anti-epileptics are very difficult to get off of, too. They fall into the same category as psych meds for withdrawal.
Yeah.
So,
And like painkillers and things like that. You have pain. This gets me off the pain, but it makes me addicted to it. So it's, diet is not the easiest road. And I think that's one of the biggest barriers is, well, why should we do that when we can just have this doctor give us a medication? Me saying, well, that medication is not going to work is not convincing to them. Well, you're not a doctor.
Yeah.
All right. I've been doing this 9 years. And I've seen people take that medication and nothing happens.
So you said you've been doing this for 9 years. Is that how long you've been implementing like ketogenic diet in?
No, it's been probably maybe 3 years now, 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
I started really in earnest during COVID because I was, we got all the lockdowns really hard because you got old people and they're the most vulnerable and everything. So I thought, especially before all this vaccine stuff came out and everything, okay, how can we keep them healthy? So let's do and that's sort of when I discovered the X3 thing too. But, what can we do that's not going to have people pass away here? And so that's when I implemented the diet. We also got a bunch of vitamins C and D just looking on the internet. And I also did everything I could to have my residents see their families during COVID, actually see them, not Zoom see them. Because Zoom, they'd just be like, what's this? So we would set up I bought commercial clothing racks and we'd put clear shower curtains and we'd put them out on the front porch on either side of the shower curtain, or we'd have them sit at the front door and the family, be 6 feet away, or, whatever we could do that met Department of Health requirements. And I called the Department of Health. The Arizona Department of Health was really cool about it. They said, don't do anything that will get you in the newspapers. And I'm like, okay, fine. And then as we did more of that, we realized, hey, they're not getting sick by seeing their families. So then we just started having their families come in and we just do it outside. We'd have backyard barbecues or parties and things like that. We had a lady turn 100 during COVID. So we got the local police to have a parade with all the cars in front of her. And we set up a throne in front of the house and had this 100 banner, and we had a big party in the backyard afterwards. No problems at all. So I just, took steps and thought them seeing their family is probably the best defense against COVID I have. That they're happy, that they're not depressed, that they're not just going to go downhill because they're like, I'm never going to see anyone again. I got to wear this stupid mask, all this stuff. So I think the COVID and the X3 together kind of said, this is what I need to do. And then once the Peterson protocol kicked in, I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. The 7 to 8 people that I've sent home, the first one was probably in the first 2 years I did it, and that was just eliminating the processed food. So it's not like all of them did it because they were carnivore and keto. Yeah. It was varying problems and things like that, but it was all just eating natural food helped. But most of I'd say 3 or 4 of them are in the last 3 or 4 years kind of thing. Wow. Yeah.
I just put up, so I get chronically ill people and they can't do the carnivore diet, and they're, bed bound or something like that, and they're surrounded by other foods and they're miserably depressed. And they're just like, this is too hard. Like, I can't handle it.
They can't do it because medically, or they can't do it because it's just too hard?
They don't have enough will, part of it, but also they can't get out of bed well, and just anything additionally hard is too much because their life is too hard already.
Right.
And so I've got this weaning protocol for people that's kind of like, you're still eating the same thing.
Right.
But it's not the same thing. It looks like the same thing, but it's the healthy version of the same thing. So I think I have my list called like healthy foods for lazy people, something like that.
Nice.
Or it's like you can still eat your, it's not a carnivore diet, but like eat your pizza and your spaghetti and stuff, but it's the healthy versions of those. So like grain-free, usually, sugar-free, all that.
Yep.
And then have different diets for like, first you replace all your foods that are like bread and buns and pizza and cakes with the healthy version of that. And then you start cutting out the healthy versions of the cakes and the buns and stuff, and like moving people over slowly. That works better.
That sounds like a great idea. Another thing we do is we'll do like a keto day and then a carnivore day. Like, so you have something to look forward to. Like, okay, today's going to be hard just eating the meat thing, but tomorrow I'm going to get they're going to ease up on me, so and then we just try to space out the cheat days or whatever further and further.
That works.
So
that's a good idea.
We try to work with each person and see what they can do. But I have a nurse currently who came to us. She's lost 60 pounds in 3 months. And she was a nurse for 40 years and had no idea of these kind of nutrition things before she came to us. Like, how do they not tell you guys about this stuff?
I don't think they know. Like, I don't think people know.
No.
They're going to know, though.
That's years of my job.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And the more that know and try it and succeed, they become evangelists for it. And the word spreads and spreads. They don't keep it to themselves, and it's really neat to see. My cousin started texting me. He's lost 60 pounds. He had colon cancer. He just went in for a colonoscopy. It was totally clear.
Wow.
He's down to 10 grams or less of carbs a day, and he's doing and he's like, this is awesome. I'm grilling steaks. I'm eating burgers.
No, I know. Compared to being chronically ill,
right?
Even people are like, how do you do the diet? And the version I'm on for the carnivore diet, like I can't do Maria's recipes. But so the version I'm on sucks in the realm of carnivore diet.
Right.
But compared to how I used to feel, it's a miracle.
Yes.
I was like, this doesn't suck. I get to survive off of steak.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Who's going to say no to that? Like,
right.
Anyway, so yeah.
Someone told me there is no food on this earth that tastes as good as feeling healthy.
That's me.
Yeah. And so there isn't a food that I should eat that could hurt my health the taste would be better than that.
Yeah, nothing tastes as good as healthy feels.
Yes, there you go. Thank you. And I think of that every time I get tempted with something.
Yeah. That's funny.
Because I don't think you ever get rid of the temptations completely.
No, not really. It fades. If you only eat meat, it does fade. I've walked into kitchens. It's such a weird experience. So I've been doing it. It'll be 7 years in December. Yeah, December. Mm-hmm. And I'll walk into kitchens, and my brother, who eats a regular diet, he'll be cooking something, and I won't be able to recognize the smell anymore. Isn't that
really
weird?
That is
They're like,
really
what
weird.
Is that? That's an onion. It's like, wow.
Wow, because that's a strong smell.
I know. They just don't hit the same circuits. I'm sure if I started eating them again, then I'd rebuild that right away. But it was like super weird.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't noticed that. But
certain smells, they just don't like. My brain's just pruned that part of my brain, I guess. Like, that's not an important smell anymore.
I'm amazed by how much it removes your appetite. Like, you just, you
Yes.
can go, like the last time I ate was last night, and I just haven't been hungry all day. I'm sure I'll go have a steak tonight or something, but it's...
No, the last time I ate was yesterday too.
And I remember eating a normal...
And it's 4 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember a normal diet, but if I hadn't had something by 9 in the morning, I'm like...
Yeah, shaky.
I got to have something.
Yeah.
And it really, you just don't need it.
Mm-hmm. I tried, my dad wanted... This is when I was still sick before I figured out there was a link to diet. And my dad was like, I've read studies on fasting and helping chronically ill people. You know, you should try fasting. And I was in university. I think I went, 6 hours and was like, I feel like I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that was from, how sick I was, the number of medications I was on and what I was eating. But once you transition to low carb or keto or carnivores especially, then it's like, yeah, you can eat pretty infrequently. It's crazy, actually.
Yeah. I know sometimes I have to remind, I should eat.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to, because I do lose weight if I go 2 days or something without fast.
Yeah.
But we feed our residents usually around 4 to 5, somewhere in there, and then we tell them the kitchen's closed until 7:30, 8 the next morning for breakfast. So we can get 14, 15, 16 hours of them fasting every night. And I think that helps a lot too.
Yeah. It would.
Just the 3 hour, one of the things on the Peterson protocol is to try to not eat 3 hours before your bedtime too. And it helps them sleep. And it seems like our residents really, their sleep improves when they've been with us a little while, which is huge for dementia too.